Hi guys, it's Rhea, and I am going to tell you why I'm against social stories. So, as defined by the creator herself of social stories, Carol Gray, they are social learning tools that support the safe and meaningful exchange of information between parents, professionals, and people with autism of all ages. Social stories are used to accurately describe a skill, goal, achievement, or concept by using 10 defining criteria. The first problem that I saw with social stories is that they take forever to make. Authors must know the individual very well and understand how they learn in order to create the story. And each story is individual and personalized for a child or adult with autism to better their behavioral skills and their social skills. But when creating one, you have to hit all 10 areas of criteria before giving it to this individual. So I'll briefly describe all 10 real quick. Number one is just they have to accurately depict the information through content, format, and voice that's descriptive and meaningful for the individual. Number two, they must improve the understanding for whatever situation the individual is learning about and identify the idea and focus. And number three is that there needs to be organization, inter-body conclusion that identifies the topic, adds detail, and summarizes. Number four is that it must be tailored to the individual's abilities and attention and learning skills. Number five is that it must define vocabulary and have a supportive voice that's positive and has a patient tone. Number six is that they must answer WH questions. Number seven is that they must have descriptive sentences. Number eight is that when they do describe, it must be direct towards the idea so that the individual can understand the meaning behind what is to be learned. Number nine is that it must be revised by others and professionals, especially speech-language pathologists. And number 10 is that there are multiple different guides to implement this social story in their life, and you have to plan for comprehension, plan for story support, plan story review, plan a positive introduction, monitor, organize the story, mix and match, recycle information, stay with the current research. And this is all the criteria that an author must hit to actually implement a story in therapy for an individual. The second aspect I'm going to look at is how the research isn't definitive and there isn't a measurable, you can't measure the development of the individual. There's only small amounts of quality research done on the use of social stories and a large amount of low quality research using individual case studies that suggest that social stories increase social interaction. But there was a research done in 2010 that drew from 18 different studies with 47 students total that were looked at, and they found that social studies either were very hit and miss. 51% were qualified as highly effective, but 44 were ineffective, didn't work at all. So it's just hard to see if there's actually any use in social stories or if there's any positive effects. Most researchers say that they wouldn't consider this an evidence-based practice for teaching social skills to individuals with autism. It's not that they are negative towards an individual, it's just it doesn't seem like there's no variable that they can look at and see if there's any improvement with the use of social stories. The results are variable and inadequate, and there's a lack of experimental control and weak treatment effects, and it's difficult to determine if social stories are responsible for an increase or change in social behaviors. For future research, studies should provide more information about the participants and have a larger group or amount of participants in order to determine the effectiveness of social stories. And they should also look and see which aspects of social stories are important for measuring, and whether or not the effects are long-term or can be used in a real-world setting. And they need to involve children and adults ranging of all ages with autism in order to better the design and development and evaluate efficiently for the studies. But though there are multiple issues with the effectiveness of social stories and the length of time it takes to make them, they still have no negative effects on individuals and can be positive for behavior. I think that if there is more research done and a target is found for certain individuals, that social stories could be effective, but as for right now, there is too many variable results and inadequate participation in social stories, so I wouldn't use them for treatment until further research is done. Thank you.